pleasure to go with Bdesh, with same trip as you imagined, a little bit after. And what we saw there was nothing short of really devastating. So I know that we've seen a lot of hope, and Brother Mir and Brother Sohail have brought a lot of hope, but I want to sort of bring us back to sort of what we really saw there. Alhamdulillah, we came with just some food. Dar es Salaam helped us, so Hajj Mustafa came back and he said, you guys should go, so we went. And we just brought some food, and you couldn't imagine that we just bring a truck of food, and maybe there's a line of 1,000 people that forms for that food. And then another line of about 1,000, there's 2 of them. And as they're coming up, we see that the line has some kids in it. And I remember one kid in particular, her name was Husna. She came up, she was about maybe 6 years old, and we were handing them bags that were about maybe 15 kilograms or so. She came up, saw her card. You have to have an ID card, it has your name on it. So we got the bag and we handed it to her. As we handed it to her, I saw her little body collapse under the weight of it. And I asked the volunteers there, I said, why is she the one picking up the food? Why isn't her brother or her sister or somebody there helping her to pick up this food? And they said if the card is in her name, it means she's the oldest person in her family. Think about that. She's the oldest person. She has to take those goods, carry them home, and then fend for herself. We asked Brother Mir and Brother Sohail to take us to that camp with those orphans. We walked into the tent and we saw Brother Sister Husna there. And I remember Naz, she also went with us. She hugged her, and she hugged back with such ferociousness to think that she hasn't been hugged. There's nobody in this world who's hugging her, who cares about her, who's there to just give her some love or sympathy. And this camp was full of children like that. Then we went to go see some of the other camps, and in each camp there's sort of a medical camp that Bdesh sets up. And we met another brother there, his name is Hussein. This is a brother who went to medical school, graduated, and then decided to sort of sacrifice his own aspirations to go be a private doctor somewhere to go to this camp. In this camp, there's about 25,000 people that he's the only one who services. This is a camp that's run by Bdesh, that he's there, and the line is out the door again, and there's 25,000, only one person. Can you imagine how many people get sick? How many people need his medical care? And he's the only one there. And if it weren't for Bdesh, then there would be no medical care there. These are just a few of the instances of where Bdesh is coming in to help out with the real things that are going on the ground. See, in Bangladesh, just a little bit of the political side, Bangladesh has taken them in, but doesn't have long-term plans for them. So they're not allowed to build any permanent housing. Everything needs to be done in sort of these makeshift mud, wood, just something that can easily go down. They're not allowed to really go out and be part of the workforce. They have to stay in these camps. So it's not like you can say, okay, go train them and let them go out and work. They can't. There's sort of this political idea that one day they'll return, but the people there don't want them to return. In fact, the UN, just a few weeks ago, published that the risk of the genocide now is the highest it's ever been. The highest it's ever been. We already experienced a genocide. We were in Hajj. We were in Hajj when the first genocide was happening. And it caught the world by surprise. This second one is not catching us by surprise. We know all about it. And what are we going to do about it? We can sign that Senate resolution, which will have impact. One of my professors is Mitch McConnell's chief advisor, Scott Jennings. I don't know if you know Scott Jennings. So we're trying to get Mitch McConnell to do something, but with every email that's sent, we can push that ball a little bit further. So please, I only have a few requests. Number one is to keep the people of Rohingya in your dua. Just make it a sincere thing that every time you make supplication that you say, Ya Allah, please help these people. It's just a few words, but it can be so much, so powerful. Just make a promise to yourself that you'll do that. Number two is to do the practical things, like sign resolutions, things that take a few minutes. And then number three is everybody in front of them has this small sheet. And on it are just a few boxes. You can fill them in at your leisure, but please don't leave here without filling in at least something. So Dawah Salam, who I came with on the original trip, has actually just told me, so Ahmed is here, he's the CEO, he just told me that they're going to donate and try to match any donations from tonight up until $5,000. So if anybody here is able to donate, Dawah Salam themselves will give up to $5,000. Can I just see, I don't want to see amounts, but can I just see a show of hands by whoever here is going to give something tonight? Can I just see a show of hands, inshallah? Thank you. Thank you. May Allah preserve this. And just as a few things that are on this sheet. So sanitary and latrine lines, why are those important? As we were walking, you can see where the actual sanitary and latrine lines are. They're in the streets. They're like the little gutters. They go outside and they can only have that area right there. And then when you see where they get their water from, it's from the same water source. That's why it's important. So they'll just take the water, they might heat it up or boil it and then use it, but that's the same water that they're using. It's all connected. So that's why these things are so important. Things like the Rohingya program or the child welfare. Child welfare is where the orphans are. If you want to give to the orphans, inshallah. So I won't take much more of your time, but please do not leave here without filling this in and supporting people like Husna, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds who have no family in this world. Supporting people like Hussein who are out there in the medical camp all by themselves. All they need are the proper, if they don't have the medicine to give to the child, it makes no difference. And that medicine is only a few dollars. The dollar that we spent here goes so far there, so far, further than you could ever imagine. They were like, oh, we need to build a masjid for everyone to pray. We said, how much is the masjid? They said, it'll cost us about $400 to build. We said, what? $400 to build a masjid? Forever? We each pulled out $50 from our pocket, 8 of us, we paid for it, and it was done. That's how far money goes in Rohingya. So just give whatever you can. And without further ado, I'd like to hand it off to Brother Sohaib. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
ITV, Call of Peace, Save Humanity.